everyone, and welcome to the Leadership Heart Podcast with Sandra J. Horton, the Growth Catalyst. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for those who are coming on to view live or those who will be listening on the audio in the podcast after. Thank you for coming in today. You know, the Leadership Heart Podcast is so excited to be welcoming this amazing friend, a friend that I've known for many, many years, Miss Carolyn Mundell. And, you know, if there's not one beautiful ounce that I have so many words for this amazing woman. And she is the founder and CEO of Function Health Club, which is a multi-location health and fitness company. Carolyn is also the vice president of the BC Weightlifting Association. So we're talking about a woman who's powerful from inside and out. And also she holds, this is so cool, both the BC and Canadian records in multiple categories in Olympic lifting. I can't even say that. Let me bring up amazing Carolyn while I keep going forward here, my friend. I'm so excited to have my bestie on here. And she is truly this amazing, exceptional, positive role model. And she is an entrepreneur. She really, truly helps her clients change their health. And I love this, Carolyn, to unleash the best version of themselves. And we're going to dive into all those areas. And I know you have some amazing offers for the many audience members that we have here. So let's dive in. Enough of me, more over to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Well, thank you, Sandy. It is really, really awesome to be on here. You know, I am a big supporter of women in leadership, and the fact that, you know, you have this podcast and you want to support and bring light to leadership and the skills it takes and the importance of, you know, learning and then living your life and leading. I think it's phenomenal. So I'm very excited to kind of sit here and chat it up with you
Yes, let's go. Let's chat it up. And that's, you know, I just get so excited because you are such an empowerment. I really feel like you're just the best role model. And, you know, I know so much about you and your beautiful role. So, and your life and how you've overcome. So why don't we start with that first kind of L of conscious leadership and leading from that heart space, you know, with all your excellence that you've done. What would you say has been maybe your biggest lessons that you've learned in learning about yourself so that you can be true to yourself and really empower yourself and empower others?
Ooh, good question. Well, so over the many, many years, I have learned a lot about myself. One of the things, if I was to just straight up, I have learned that I'm much more capable and much more able than my younger self maybe had given me credit for.
Powerful.
Yeah. And I definitely have gained a lot of resiliency through all of the various challenges and things that I've overcome. Many things that, as anyone who's been through something very extreme or hard, you will probably resonate with this. If you've been torn down to a shell of a being, and you've then been able to rebuild yourself, there's so much growth and so much knowledge and so much information and a wealth of mental health and well-being that you can share with people, which translates really well into the world of health and fitness. Because as we know, it's not just about working out. It's not just about showing up at a gym. There's a whole way of life, a way of being, and a way of putting your health at the center of your life so that you can be that person, be that great, supported, powerful person, and bring that to everything that you do.
And so how did you, I always dig in because I think this is the power place that for many people, it's like, well, who am I? How do I find that inner strength? How do I find myself? So what was your journey within? Like, what did you do to find that path inside?
Well, so, a great way to find yourself is to have someone divorce you.
Yep. Had to have that. Yep, had that.
and and then be put in a position where you need to figure out who you are and what you want to do with your life. How's
Yeah,
that?
it's
Right. So
true.
for me, I was married very young. I had my children very young. So my first two kids, I had them before or just after I had turned 20. And I was married for 10 years to someone who I probably shouldn't be married to. And through that, I learned a lot about myself. I learned um, I learned what I didn't like. I learned what I didn't like about myself. And then I also was able to, through some of the challenges presented to me, I was able to take the time to figure out the things that I truly did love and the things that I was passionate about and what I had to offer to the world.
Hmm.
So that actually came right out of my divorce. I was
Oh,
I didn't want to be dependent on my ex. I had been home with my kids. I hadn't done much in the way of work. I had only been in school. So I kind of sat and thought about what I wanted to do. At the time I was in university, I was doing a behavioral neuroscience degree. And I could have continued on with that, but it was going to be a long, long road. And I wasn't sure if that was quite the right path for me. And I realized that everyone always came to me for nutrition advice, for fitness advice. And I was like the cheerleader who got everyone to go on hikes and do all those things. And I really loved it. And I organically was helpful. So I decided to pursue that as a career. And that all kind of came out of wanting to be a great example for my kids, wanting to show them that something that seems very devastating at the time can lead to something really beautiful.
I love that. And you know what I admire, and for so many women going through that kind of experience, because I've been through it once and then the other time I chose due to circumstances. Yeah, you have to be open to the possibility to really transform yourself. So I'm pretty sure all my viewers want to know. So you're awakening to this beautiful understanding that you're this great cheerleader, you love health and nutrition. Do you have any advice, or maybe reframe that? Do you have any suggestions, tips, or strategies? Because, again, this is just an open conversation around health. And because it's such a huge thing now, not only mentally, but physically, that you found very supportive for individuals today to really weather this kind of very stressful time? Like, is there, I mean, that's a huge question, but I'm going to let you go and take it wherever you feel may resonate best for you right now.
Well, so health is a long game, right?
Mm.
And many people play it as a short game, right? They're like,
I like
I'm
that.
going to do a 30-day challenge and I'm going to do a 21-day workout plan, right? That's a really great way to get started if that's going to grab you. But the actual long game of health is
Yeah.
consistency. There is so much advertising out there that says, do this and it'll make this happen, do that, right? Like, have this diet, don't eat this, do eat that. Ultimately, it's the small choices that we make every day, day in and day out, that are going to support your health long term. And those can be small things like, I'm going to make sure I go to sleep by 10 p.m., or a time that works for you. And I'm going to hold myself accountable to do that consistently. I'm going to make sure I drink 2 liters of water a day. And if you pick, let's say, 3 things that you're going to do, and you're going to consistently make those changes and commit to those, then think about the layering effect that that's going to have, right? So you do 3 things, you get those ingrained into your life. So they're not now the 3 things you have to think about every day. They're the 3 things that are a part of you, right? I get up every morning, I have my breakfast, I fill up my jug of water, I go for my walk in the evening.
My water.
Yes, exactly. That's where I'm going to start, right? I'm going to start with those 3 things. And then, it becomes a part of who I am. And I think, well, am I where I want to be with my health yet? No? Okay. So what else can I do? What other changes can I make? Do I need the support of a coach, whether that's a nutrition coach or a fitness coach, any of those kind of things, or maybe you want to keep trying those things on your own. But ultimately, it's about the consistent little changes that we make every day over time.
And I think that's powerful. It is the consistency of the positive right action. Many people can take action, but it may not be. And again, there's no bias or prejudice when I say the right action, but the action truly that gets you moving. But a part of that, a big piece though, Carolyn, is the mindset.
Yeah.
You're a winner. You're an Olympian, like it's amazing what you've achieved. So let's dive into kind of that mindset, that attitude, what does it take so that anyone and all persons can say, oh, wow, you know what? I aspire to do something like that. So how have you been able to really motivate to get the right winner's attitude?
I like to, and I've said this for a long time, I like to think of things as good, better, best.
I love that.
Of good, better, and best.
Yeah, that's cool.
And a lot of times we will go, okay, well, this is the best. And if I'm not going to do that, then I'm going to definitely choose the worst. Right? How often has someone said, okay, this week, Monday, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to do my workout, and then I'm going to eat my chicken and my rice with vegetables. And they do that on Monday and they're super proud of themselves. And then Tuesday, they don't end up going to the gym and they say, well, I guess I'll go to McDonald's for lunch, and then I'll drink a bunch of wine for dinner, and I've just had it for the week.
I'm done. Hands are up. Hands are up.
But it's so like in our DNA, right? And that was something that I personally struggled with, where if I wasn't doing the best, then I felt like a phony or a fraud, and then I would, just make choices for myself that weren't helpful to me. There's no logic to it. And so thinking of things as that good, better, best, like on a spectrum, and being kind to yourself.
That's a beautiful one. Yes.
When you are not doing the thing that you feel that is in your best interests, right? Like, I'll use the example of food, because food's a really easy one, right? You decide you're not going to have dessert, and then you have dessert. Okay, cool. That one piece of cake, not going to ruin your life.
Yep.
That extra 3 chocolate bars that you eat when you get home, that's not going to make you feel really any better.
Yeah.
So just the good, better, best, and being kind to yourself when you don't do the thing that you think is the best thing for you. I know it's a little bit of a babbling answer, but I genuinely believe that being kind to yourself, and then choosing to choose again every single time, because every day is a new day, every hour is a new hour, and every time you make a positive, healthy choice, that just builds on top of each.
Yeah, and it's almost like, I find it interesting, even the words health or healthy choices can trigger people.
Yeah.
It's almost like, we get ingrained into, oh, healthy, I don't know, that's hard. And it's interesting in the attachments we place on a word, like almost the causality. This, if I say this, do this, this is going to cause this kind of effect. So in your ability to rise in the ranks of your weightlifting, and setting the good, better, best, what has been your greatest moment? Because those are huge accomplishments, and I know I've seen you so many beautiful years working and consistently, upping the weights and being that person. So what's your greatest moment or the most proud moment you've had?
Oh, so specifically with Olympic lifting, I would definitely say when I went to Barcelona and I competed at the Masters World Championships. I had never competed at that level before, And I'd never done that kind of a traveling competition before. And I put like everything into it, and every day doing the right training, also doing the right recovery, meaning not training, resting, managing my nutrition. Like, it's a competitive athletic sport. So there's a whole bunch of things that I had to do. And then I was able to pull out a bronze medal and one of my highest totals at the World Championships, and in my first international competition ever. So I think that moment will stick with me for a long time. My two oldest kids came with us to Barcelona, and they were in the stands, and it was just so exciting for me, but also being there with my family and the kids kind of being like, my mom's a champion. Like, as a mom, right? Like, you want to, as a good example.
A smile on my face.
Yeah, you want to be a really good example for your kids. And we know they don't do as we say, they do as we do.
Yep.
Right? Like,
it's so true. And for so many people, this is like going to resonate because just achieving and doing, like, it's the being, the doing, and the having, as my wonderful mentor Rex Sykes always says. We need to be it, like that mindset, and then getting into that beautiful action to do it, right, is such a powerful way to be. And so that's your greatest accomplishment. What has been your greatest learning?
One other thing, and this is probably also a learning, so we can probably intertwine the two. I just want to caveat the whole like competing as a world champion Olympic lifter piece, right? Like, so that's pretty extreme. Like, that's kind of up there, way out there. Not you don't have to win world medals to be an amazing human being or lead as an example. For me, the Olympic lifting specifically, it's about being strong and building strength. And at the time that I started Olympic lifting, I felt very vulnerable and I felt very weak. I was in a separation. I was dealing with a lot of things. I had just started my own company. In my heart, I believed I could do it, but I doubted myself so much. And I found the Olympic lifting and the sport of Olympic lifting, because it was so focused on being strong and building strength, it helped ground and anchor me. So for me, that was part of my journey of being able to realize my own strength within. It wasn't about necessarily winning the medals, although for me, it took that much. I had to do that much stuff and have it outside in front of me that I'm one of the strongest women physically in the world. That's what I needed to see to believe it in my heart. So that's like a little extreme. But it comes from a place of not feeling strong. And interestingly enough, like I'm so much more at peace with who I am and my abilities and my capabilities now. And my desire to compete, to win, it just isn't there anymore. So it served me so well for that period of time. And now I can let it go and be proud of that part. And if I want to compete again, great, I will. But I've kind of moved beyond it, and I'm now in a place where I want to be able to, help others find their strength and help them grow, because I know how important it was for me.
And that's such a beautiful segue into really focusing on what you're doing. And I absolutely love your vulnerability to say that, I was at a very vulnerable place. And this is what I found to be kind of that motivating factor, that ability to actually see it, to then believe it. And it's that integration into ourselves, into our heart space, to say, well, actually, I have a lot of resources and I am actually strong within, but sometimes we actually have to see it to then believe it, right? And so when you're working with your wonderful people now, you have 2 different locations, which is amazing. So let's kind of shift a little bit into entrepreneurship, because for some, this is a key area, obviously in leadership and moving and balancing and doing these things, finding your strengths. So let's dive into, what you do with your clients. So tell us a little bit about your training programs, what you're doing, all that kind of stuff.
So our goal is to empower and teach our clients and our members so that they have the tools to take charge of their health. So that's a very key piece of what we do here. The people who come to us are usually either starting their fitness journey or restarting their fitness journey, and they're looking for a place where they can rest and feel rest while they sweat, but like emotionally rest, like know that they can come in and they don't have to think too hard about anything. They're going to be given tools to learn and understand, and then support them in not just their time in the gym, but their time outside the gym, so that they have a well-rounded idea of how to stay well, so they can take that with them, whether they go on, move to another city or whatever. Our goal is to make the communities that our gyms are in healthier.
I love that. And you talk about empowerment, but also that sense of, I'd almost say, because I've had some training with you, and it's just absolutely amazing. Like, you really tailor it to the individual, and it is a safe space. And I remember in my younger then in their days, going into a gym perhaps wasn't that comfortable, even though I loved to the physical weights, and I would go into the mixed gyms, and I just didn't have that comfort. But what I did find is I did the one-on-one training with yourself, and it was so excellent, and I really appreciated the nutrition aspects, because it's really holistic, isn't it? Like, if we don't watch what we put into our mouths and we don't exercise, then we're not going to perhaps be in the best place and space for our overall functioning, especially as a leader. So do you have any suggestions, tips, or strategies for those who are listening now or later for really improving their health? If you are starting to consider, okay, I really want to make a change, I want to begin, what do you suggest?
The very, very first step, if you want to make a change and you're like, okay, that's it, that's what I want to do, is you need to find a space that you feel comfortable being vulnerable and be held accountable. So I firmly believe that having a coach is valuable, right? I have my own coach for my own training, right? And I believe that, and I do the classes and the programs that we have at the gym. But I do believe that if you can immerse yourself in an environment that's supporting the changes that you are looking to make,
right,
that is going to really, really help you make those changes. 100%, I support the idea of getting a coach. That does not mean you need to have a coach forever. But when you're getting started, just get started on the right foot. Get someone who knows what they're doing. We even talk about this in the leadership entrepreneurial circles, right? Do you want to just try and build a business by yourself, or is there an advantage to having a mentor, to having someone you can ask to say, hey, you know what, I've made this mistake, and this mistake. I'm going to save you 3 years of your time.
Exactly.
And tell you what to do here.
Yeah.
So you don't sit there and suffer like I did. Well, that's what health coaches are there for, right? Like, yes, we can all try it on our own, but why?
Yeah, and that's it's a choice. But why? I love your simplicity, but it's the truth, though. But why? When we can make different choices and decisions that will support us. And you bring up a really key piece here about the living and then into leading, is that you have to be, again, that role model. We're always growing and always changing. So, during COVID, you were an amazing, and I admired you so much, a real spokesperson for many small businesses who were really challenged with, a lot of the changes. And we're not going to get into all of that piece, but what I admired most was your resiliency of overcoming, of pivoting, of adapting, being flexible. Can we dive into that area? Because I think it really runs throughout your whole course of your life, and in overcoming the mindset, all those kind of things. So do you have any reflections about resiliency? And
specifically with COVID, when it first happened and it first was affecting my company and obviously all the other companies, I sat down with some of the team leaders in the business, and I said, I don't know how this is going to pan out. I do not know what we're going to have to do, but what I do know is if we keep our heads down, we work hard, we pay attention, and we do what is necessary to support the members of our community, that we will come out the other side of this in a better place. At that time, we were thinking like 4 months, like everyone else. 3 years later, I just had in January, we had our highest revenue month in the history of the company.
Oh, congratulations.
And last January, we were on lockdown.
Wow.
So I do believe that just in times of hardship, keeping your eye forward, believing that it will be okay. It does not serve you to sit and dwell on being victimized. You can sit in it for like a few minutes. Everyone does.
just a few minutes. Then get
right?
going.
Like, you know, I watched a few Netflix episodes till the point where it asked me if I was still viewing, right? Like there's going to be that. It's going to happen. Yeah. But overall, most of the time, you know, 90% of the time, eyes forward, focus on the positive, focus on what you can do, what you have control over. Yeah. Let go of, you know, like every therapist on earth, let go of what you can't control. Easier said than done. and just stay positive and be supportive of yourself and the people around you. And I've had a multitude of things kind of come my way, not anything we need to get into in detail. You know a lot of the stuff. Mm-hmm. But every time you overcome something hard, it creates another level of resiliency. And if you're able to be open to the gift that hardship gives you, it will create immense change in you in a positive way.
I love that. And that's a powerful point to make, that in all of these situations that we face, it's how we look at it. And I love the word that it is a gift. It's a gift of new learning. It's a gift of opportunity and possibility. So we're not in that moment. And for some individuals, the wording, because the power of the words is so key, they can feel stuck or not able to move. And if you feel that, you're going to feel that for a while, unless you break that cycle and that you do something different. Yeah. And that's like kind of like that pattern interrupt and going for a walk, doing things like the physicalness, or just to feel happiness in different ways can help break those cycles. So as we round I can't believe it's the top of the hour already. I'm like, what?
I was going to say, one of the things that it's very, very simple, and this goes in, like, this speaks to, you know, any aspect of life, but as a leader, if you say to yourself, things don't happen to me, they happen for me, then everything that comes your way, if you're like, well, this has happened for me, it becomes a learning opportunity. I didn't have that knowledge when I first went through some of the things that had happened to me, but later on I did. And I going to like learning about myself, and then having that experience when COVID hit, every time I'm like, this is an opportunity for me to dig deep and figure out why this is happening and what I can do to make it a big positive change out of the situation. And I did that over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. We ended up having to move our facility in the middle of COVID. My downtown Vancouver location, I had a horrific time with the landlords. They were not following any of the COVID rules. And I had to literally move my gym in 2 months. I had 2 months to move an entire gym in downtown Vancouver. And at the time, I could have just melted down and be like, I guess I have to shut my gym. But I'm like, no, this is happening for me. What can I do? How can I take advantage of this? And we were able to realign the two gyms, create program access across the board and do like so many amazing things. And now the company, where am I? Best month in revenue ever in the history of the company. But it's all from that one statement. Things happen for me.
That's a beautiful, powerful learning. And thank you for sharing that, Carolyn. I think that resonates for everything in our lives. And wow. And I'm so happy for you. Like I get a little choked up because I know how much you've had to go through. So yeah, I'm just really grateful and thankful to, to have you in my life, and and your family. They're just they're so important to me. So how can people learn a little bit more about you?
Well, you can always go to our website, functionhealthclub.com. You can email me directly, caroline@functionhealthclub.com. And I am happy to, for any of the listeners, I'm happy to book a free 30-minute consult to go through and map out what would be a really great health and wellness plan for you. No cost, no obligation, just 30 minutes with me to shoot the shit like we just did and come up with some great tips and some top 3 things that you can do to help change the direction of your health.
Well, and the other key thing here for everyone is that I know that for me, it's just super exciting that I love to buddy up with partners and have my bestie, to come on into the gym and let's go and let's get moving. And I know I have my son's wedding in May. So it's like, let's go. I gotta power. I gotta get this body, fully ready to rock and roll. So can you let the listeners know too, my beautiful audience, about your promotion for this month?
Yes. So for February, being the month of love and connection, or at least on Hallmark cards it is, we have a partner accountability promo. So for anyone who wants to join our group classes, we are doing a 2-for-1. You and a buddy pay just one price for the 2 of you for the entire first month. And we also are offering a 10% off any of our doubles personal training sessions. So again, you and a buddy come and train together with one trainer, and we have 10% off those packages.
Oh, that's such an amazing offer, everyone. And thank you for doing that. And you've proven, you've really showed you know what you're doing. And there's so much out there and people saying they can do this and that, but you've done it. You've done the work. You've done the hard work from the inside to the out. You physically have, committed yourself to that excellence and pursuit that very few, I think it's less than 1%, achieve the level that you've achieved in terms of your Olympic, powerlifting. And it's weightlifting, not powerlifting, correct? I have to get that right. Yes, I have to make sure I'm correct on that because I know there's these nuances.
Well, and you know what, though? That's my journey. And like I said, I needed to be the top 1% to believe I was even good enough. So that's just me. That's just me being insecure. That's why I'm a champion. But in genuine, like finding the best, healthiest you. That's what we want to do here at the company. That's what I support, right? I'm not going to say, hey, this is what I think you need to do. You need to be an Olympic lifter. No, right? I'm going to say, hey, what's your healthy version of you? What do you want to see for your life? Let's help. Let's build that out.
And I love that because that's what we like. I always look at the holistic nature of individuals, and it's all of our beautiful, our body, our mind, and the connection, and also even beyond that, like what I've found in excellence in exercising, doing my 10,000 steps a day and that commitment. Even Napoleon Hill talks about that, the red hot passion, the focused intention. If you believe it and you're purposeful and you're dedicated, you will achieve it. Absolutely. And it doesn't matter the level that you're going towards. It's just, is this enhancing your beautiful life so that you can live it, just wonderfully and feel good? Like, nothing feels better to me, Carolyn, than when I'm working out or I'm dancing. As you know, I dance with the women's group. And it's like, hey, I hit my 60th birthday this June. And it's like, I can still dance with the young ones who are in 20 something. I can't do some of the moves as fast as them, but I have the mobility. I have to, do a little few modifications, but I can still be really active and enjoy my life. And that mobility is the key to so much as we're aging. And so, yeah, just really being conscious, really beginning to not only learn about ourselves, but to live in a great way and to lead in an amazing, exceptional way. So in closing, any closing remarks, my wonderful friend?
No, I'm very grateful to have been able to sit here and chat and be on your podcast. I love talking about this kind of stuff. And I hope that the listeners have got some value out of what we've talked about today. And I look forward to connecting with them.
Oh, and please do connect with Carolyn. She really is an amazing, the real deal. And her approach is really so heart-centered, and you don't feel pressured. It's just, it's personalized and it's customized to you to ensure that you succeed. And she has amazing coaches there. And so wherever you are in your life journey, please do reach out to Carolyn. And I thank you for being here in the Leadership Heart podcast. Next week, we have another dynamo who's going to be coming in and speaking to you on how they've learned, lived, and lead their life. And so, as always, I ask you, what is one simple thing that you can do that you've heard today and apply in your wonderful life? Because in any moment, we can make that choice to do things differently. Challenge the status quo. Check into your heart, to your mind. Connect to a higher source, calling, consciousness, whatever it is for you. Vibe high. Anything and all things are possible. Do not let your current circumstance define you, because you are not your past then and there. You're in the present moment, so you can create your future. And that's the cool part. So I thank you so much, Carolyn. I'm going to put you down below. I'll catch you on the other side as I head over here to my beautiful outro, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you again, my beautiful friend.
Thank you, Sandy.